the one who found her. And he called, the police or whatever. And so after that, I had to help the dad tell the kids. I had to help the dad tell the kids. Now, in therapy, we don't recommend that the therapist tells the children. You're just there for like support, for the parent or the family, right? You kind of talk to them beforehand, kind of coach them on what to say. If they say, well, what if the kids say this? You give them some recommendations, but it's up to them to tell them, right? And so I think it was the next day, and I had to go to that man's house to tell them kids. And I mean, I was scared for the kids because they, like I said, they couldn't have been more than 10 years old, both of them. And I felt for them. I'm like, they don't have their mom no more. And the dad, I think it was the dad and the grandmother there. And they sat him down, told him, the little girl, she said, I already knew. I will never forget that. Girl, at school, I called my supervisor, right? That man, he gave me the detective gave me his card. I'm like, I don't need this because I don't know nothing about what did happen to this lady and what she didn't did. And he said, you have any information, you call. I said, oh my God. So I had to go back to I called my supervisor, and thank goodness, supervisor I had at that time, she was very supportive. She was like, come back to the office, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Because I was in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to meet her at this time. And she's like, come back, we'll talk about it, let's debrief. And so yeah, so I told I had to go to the house the day after. And the father told them, and the little girl, she said, I never forget this. She said, I already knew something happened to my mom because she did not call me last night. Now, usually, like when she goes to the house, she'll still call the kids, tell them good night and stuff like that. Like I feel like the kids knew that the mom was not right in some kind of way, that her health was not right. But they just didn't know what it was. And they were a well-to-do family too. And the little girl said, I knew that something happened to my mom because she did not call me to tell me good night. And them kids didn't shed a tear. You hear me? Those children did not shed a tear. They, after the dad told them, hugged them up and everything like that, let them know he was going to support them. They were going to get through it and all of this. Them kids went right back outside because they had a pool in the back. They went right back outside that back door and jumped in the pool. And I said, well, shut my mouth wide open. Girl, I thought that them kids were gonna be boo-hooing and crying. And it was she, like I said, she wasn't a mom that was not there. Like it would be like in the evening. As in the morning for school, she would make their lunch, she would be making breakfast for them, all kind of stuff. But right after them kids went to school, baby, she was at it with them drugs. And so they saw her every day. And I said, they're gonna fall apart. How and now, not to say now kids, so we know kids are resilient, right? They take life as it is. Now, not to say that as they get a little bit older, they start to think about, have questions and things like that nobody either wants to answer or nobody can answer about their mom. They may start to feel a certain way. That's why they have to be in therapy when things like this go on as kids, right? But kids are resilient and they get over it. They move on faster than adults will. We are the ones that worry about how they're gonna feel, what they're gonna say. Yes, they are. What they're gonna say, what they're gonna ask us. And like I say, those kids sat there, they took it all in. They hugged up the grandma, hugged up the dad, and after that, they went right on outside and jumped in the pool. And I looked and said, "Well, I guess my job here, I didn't, have to do anything really." But I think I stayed for a few weeks to just support the dad and, through the funeral and the memorial and stuff like that. And then I discharged the case. I think with them I had transferred the kids or gave the kids a resource for like their school counselor and things like that. Um and yeah, so yeah, like I said, I will never forget that story. I got a whole bunch of stories, y'all, but that's for a later day. Now, so I said all that to say that this little boy of Ime's and Nia's, he ain't worried about that. So that can't be the reason why you ain't leave this lady if you knew you really didn't want to get married. Like, why are you holding on to her? That's the part that I don't get with the situation. Like, I feel like some people, and not even just men, but people who just stay in relationship just to stay in it, it's kind of like you're gaining some kind of secondary benefit. You know what I'm saying? Is it that because you got Nia Long on your arm? Like, but I don't think that's it, right? Or is it that you just got caught up in, because some people like the newness of things. Some people are passionate about passion, if that makes any sense. Like, you knew in a relationship, this the honeymoon phase, y'all getting together, y'all going on trips, just like newlyweds, right? Newlyweds, I ain't never met a newlywed that left their spouse's side. I mean, you are stuck like glue for them first, maybe two, maybe 3 years. Y'all go everywhere together. Y'all going on trips, especially if you ain't got no kids. Y'all doing a whole bunch of stuff, but y'all are stuck like glue. But after a while, it's like life starts to happen, and you got to do real stuff. You got to live a real life. This ain't no honeymoon no more. So, but you've been with the lady since 2010. That's what I don't get. Like, did you just, so then if that's the case, I feel like this ain't the first time Ime you've been messing with around. This might not be the first lady you've been messing around with or been